Hi, I'm Seamless, and today I'm going to show you how to make this bass. Yes. So, I have in the past mentioned resonance shaping and filter custom shapes that you can do in Harmor. And today's going to be more of that, but this one was particularly successful, so I wanted to share some of the cool things that can be done with it. So, those don't do anything. That's good. I'm automating these two directly, the width and the offset of the resonance. Now, the main actual filter isn't moving around, but I'm using it as basically a global positioning for everything that I'm doing with the resonance. Because it, will do odd things. But, moving it around could be cool if it's something that you decide you want to do. So, a lot of stuff got messed with this particular patch, but mostly it's the resonance shape, which I'm already on right here. I'll explain a minute to a minute why I have it kind of offset and not exactly on center. It has to do with the behavior that the center has when you mess with the width of things. And this applies to the filter frequency shaping, like the filter shape, the resonance shape, and also the phaser shape, because you can make your own shape with the phaser too. I messed with the local EQ, which is the basically per note wave shaping. As you can see, the wave up here is kind of odd looking. I didn't actually mess with the actual timbre window, whatever, the wood window, because we're chopping trees. I messed with the local EQ, which is a bit different. And then the harmonic phase, I changed a little bit, but this was just totally random, totally just like bap 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 bap, bap. And it sounded kind of cool, so I kept it. I did mess with timbre 2, but that was actually an experiment, and I'm not actually using timbre 2, which is the square wave. So that's irrelevant to everything that we're talking about. And then the Unison has some of my more usual ones. If you've seen any of my other Unison setups, usually you'll find something kind of like this. And I'll explain what that does. And then, of course, it's distorted. There's a little bit of that going on. And in the insert that it's in, it's really only just some EQ going on. It's really all that is. It's just to accentuate some of the highs, because I cut off some of them with the filter for distortion, because I felt that if it was all the way on, there were just too much. There were too many highs. So that's all there is to that. So the real power of what's happening right now is entirely the result of the movement and automation of the resonance shape. So I have here a naked Harmor, just to show what that's like, because I mean, I've covered this before, but man, whoever watches every single one of my videos and knows immediately everything I'm talking about for everything that I do, because who really? So normally when I do this sort of thing, because like, you notice I bring that down and suddenly it's just like, well, all that's gone, because the way the resonance and filters work actually is pretty important knowledge for this reason. So here we have like my voice, right? And then let's have a low pass filter. Low pass. That's a band pass. Low pass. Low pass filter. Now the resonance value is this. That's resonance. Now I have the resonating. It's resonating. Yay, kind of thing. That's what that is. It's how much of a shelf, whatever peak, I guess, at the point of cutoff. This is the cutoff value. It's cutting off right there. So, I guess I want to put this back to high shelf, low shelf. Yes. No. Whatever. I don't even need this here. So Harmor, the filters inside Harmor are not audio filters. They're selectively turning on and off the partials, the harmonic partials, as you can see here, like the fading kind of going on. That's not the result of an audio process. That's the result of it turning off and on partials as you move around the knob to simulate what a filter does. And it's still in effect a filter, but it has to do it all on purpose. Like the resonance where it's brightening the partials around where the cutoff is it's doing that on purpose, not as a necessary byproduct of how audio filters work. So as a result, though, we have way more control over the filter and also the resonance, because we can move where the resonance is and just have it unrelated to the position of the cutoff. We could even have it not move around so much. That's not what that does, but there's a way to make it so that it doesn't super like move on along with the you might have seen previous bases where I actually use that to add in certain characteristics. In fact, the main base in Resolve was primarily done by that. But then we have this width knob. And now you can kind of already detect a particular kind of behavior that we kind of zero in on in our wonderful genres of EDM production. And that has to do with this sort of opening and closing of the resonance. And like, if you've ever seen Vowel filter or someone do filter like EQ automation to get vowel formants, you would have seen the result that look kind of like that for the most basic kind. This is a very simple basic kind. But the whole point I was getting at was that in order to make this work, because the resonance is going to follow around the cutoff of the filter, we just right click this to go to a custom shape. And the custom shape by default is just to have everything on at all times. So that does nothing at all. So but what it will do is it will determine where the resonance is in center just by default. Because, you know, again, we can move it around like that, but this is just more helpful for at large. There it is, you see. So then we do the same thing with going to custom shape. So now we can make a shape. Just I've gotten this far before with vowel filtering for within Harmor. And the particular reason why I like what happened here today is because it worked pretty well with distortion. And normally it doesn't. Like, that kind of works out nice. It doesn't usually, like, this is my own observation, is that when I distort formant or vocal-based sounds, it just sounds bad to me. But this worked out nice. But point I was making about the width changing is that it will spread and close the shape size based on this window and based on this being dead center. So if I make like a mirrored pattern here, you can see it being very, very, very like 100%. And that also has to do with the fact that we're making it go on octave within hertz. Octave weighting means that when we see the partials weighted by hertz values, where the lower values are farther apart than the higher values, we will see a shape that is absolute. It is actually the shape, and not, whereas if we do hertz, it'll fit more to the hertz weighting. And that being that it travels farther down the lower values because there's less numerical space in between, like, you know, 20 hertz and then 40 hertz and then 50 something hertz, and then over here it's like 15,000 hertz and then 15,500 hertz, and then it's like not a lot. So this has to this is actually traveling really far, but it doesn't look like it is. But this is traveling the same distance, but it looks like it's traveling really far. So that's the difference between octave and hertz weighting. And then of course you could even do it visually, like you can be like hertz weighting. And now this is showing all the partials evenly distributed from 0 to 512-ish. So that's what that does. I keep octave just so I get this even distribution. So let's go back to the main actual base. So again, what's being controlled here automation-wise is first of all the width, which is obvious, but then also the offset, because certain formant sounds and vocal movements are determined not only by the formant shape, but by the formant pitch. That's kind of what's happening. I might be using terminology in total fail sense, but for the time being, it's not necessary that we are super duper on point for that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not keyboard tracking anything. So that's what yeah. So in here I have a combination of automation going on, and here we have the resonance offset and then the resonance width. And then I'm also changing the pitch of the actual sound, which is contributing greatly to the complexity of the end result via slide notes. If I wasn't doing that, this isn't like all the vowels. I mean, I'm sure someone could figure out a way to do it. I am not personally familiar with what each shape of each vowel looks like. Breathing, so that I would not be familiar with how to recreate it just inside Harmor. I'm pretty sure you could, just because I have faith that Harmor could do whatever the hell I think it can, you know, except FM related stuff. For that, there's Citrus. It's funny. Nucleon in the FL forums told me once that they did. I might be confusing stories, but they may have done the 3 filter arrangement that they have in Citrus. Where is Citrus? The 3 filter arrangement that they have in Citrus specifically so that if you control different band pass position and resonance value, cutoff and resonance values for all 3 of these, you can create any kind of vowel sound that you wanted. It would be a very specific kind of sound. It's not super duper versatile, but it can do that, and it's kind of cool. You can do the same thing with Love Filter because it has numerous filter banks. Where is it? There it is. Like, because you have 8, so you can you bandpass 3 of these independently of each other, and then move them all around independently, and then you'll create vocal sounds. And that's also the kind of thing around doing EQ modulation, is that you just do this sort of stuff, and then you automate oh, this goes over here for this time, and that goes down there, and then this is going up here, and then this goes over here down a bit, and then that creates vocal formants, and it's a lot of work. So I typically just don't do that, and having Harmor be able to do this sort of stuff procedurally is pretty awesome because you have your own width values and offset, and you can make a shape. You can just make the freaking shape, and there it is. They have a shape. I don't know what this particular shape is, but I like it, and it works. Yeah. There's not a huge amount going on in this sound other than that. I have a bit of stereo separation in the distortion because you can have asymmetry and then you go mono or stereo. And if you go too far, it sounds kind of bad, but little bits make the stereo good. And then I got stereo going on in the Unison as well. But that's more or less it. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them, or someone else will answer them, because that's starting to happen now. I have enough subscribers, enough people watching that know answers to things, and they actually answer the questions before I get to it, which is so cool. We're creating this little microcosm of people that know stuff. I like it when people know things. That's my goal in life, is that people will know things. But yeah. So yes, have a good day and such. If you're an American, I hope you had a good 4th of July. If you're not an American, I hope the day of the 4th of July was just good for you in general, and that at large, your life is not bad. So yes, all of that in a bag of chips.